This is the iPhone XS Max, and I've been using the XS Max for a little bit over 2 months now. It's been an amazing phone, and there's so much to like about it. Apple has been nailing so many things now. You know, they were kind of a little bit struggling. There was a lot of criticism last year from the choppy release of the iPhone X, the iOS 11 bugs. A lot of things went wrong last year, but this year, Apple has really buckled down. They didn't focus on anything too drastic. Everything is more or less similar in terms of design, in terms of iOS, but they've made sure to clean up all the bugs. They've made everything more optimized, and it's just amazing. So let me talk about why I love my iPhone XS Max. Now, let me give you a quick rundown of this format. I make 2 videos, one with why I don't like the phone, one with why I like the phone. You could say the negative and the positive. Now, I make 2 different videos about it, so if you haven't already, definitely check out why I don't like the phone. I'll have the link up here, and it will give you a good idea of what I think is good and bad about the phone, more of a pros and cons list, which is kind of separated into 2 different videos. So without wasting any more time, let's get into why I love the XS Max. Number 1, battery life. Battery life has been amazing. It has been the best, hands down, for any iPhone I've ever used, and I've used every iPhone since the iPhone 3G. So imagine that. I've been using iPhones for a very long time, and this is the first time in not a long time, this is the first time ever where I can get through almost every single day on one charge. So I disconnect the phone about 9 a.m. and it goes to me all the way till midnight, sometimes even 1 or 2 a.m. And I have not had an issue with it at all. Consistently getting over 7 hours of screen on time, sometimes even over 8. And that's just amazing. I don't think any other phone with a 3,100 milliamp hour battery can even come close to that. And that just speaks to Apple's optimization. Battery life is excellent. I don't even know how crazy good it will be on the XR, because apparently it is better than the XS Max. But battery life is amazing. And if you are someone who needs a lot of battery throughout the day like me, definitely consider the XS Max over the XS, because that battery will be worth all the trade-offs you make for the bigger size and heavier phone. Number 2, the camera, specifically the rear camera, because I did complain about the front one in my other video. Definitely check that out. The rear camera is amazing. Finally, Apple as well has implemented Smart HDR, which is kind of what Google did with a Pixel 2. The layered photos, where you take the best aspects of multiple photos, you click and stitch them together to create a perfect photo. Apple has picked that up as well, and let me tell you, photos are amazing on the phone. Let me put up a few samples for you to see, and I just can't believe that these were taken on an iPhone. Just look at the dynamic range, the way it handles so many different elements, and it's amazing. Not to mention the video. Video, undoubtedly, no doubt in my mind, you can come at me all you want, I will prove you wrong. The XS Max video quality is the best in the game. Nobody comes close to it, hands down. You got so many options. You can go from 24, 30, 60 FPS all the way up to 4K. Unlimited video recording. You don't have 5-minute stop times like you have on all these other phones with 4K 60 recording and 4K 30 as well. So just the video quality as well. The stabilization, not as good as Google's, I'll admit that, but it's really good at what it does. Obviously, you know, when you're doing a lot of software processing, you can do a little bit more than hardware, but with Apple doing what it does, I still think that it does really well. Just look at some of these pans I took. A lot of people thought that I was using a gimbal when I showed it to them. When I wasn't, it was just my hand doing a smooth pan. And it's just, the quality of the XS Max video is out of the world. Not to mention audio. Video audio is something nobody goes into detail about when they're talking about the video quality. Every time I hear any audio from the Pixel 3, it sounds like it's muffled, like somebody covered the speaker, the microphone, and then you're trying to scream into it. That's what it sounds like. The iPhone XS has stereo recording on video, which means that you get really full sound and you can clearly hear audio kind of moving through the video, which is really impressive. Not to mention, it's a step up from what it was before, and it was really good before as well. So audio quality was really good before. Now it's just been taken up another level, and I don't have any doubt in my mind that the iPhone XS Max and the XS have the best video camera of any smartphone out there right now, and that I will stand by, and I will fight to prove that point if anybody has a doubt. Moving on, number 3, the speaker. So last year with the 10, I was really impressed, even with the 7 Plus, to be honest. The dual speakers sound so good. They're very loud. Quality is good. The 7 Plus to 10 really bumped that up even more. And from the 10 to the 10S, which I can't believe, it sounds even more, louder. It sounds wider. I did a test where I saw that in terms of decibels, it's not much louder, but there's just something about the way it's optimized and tuned where it feels louder than it is. Quality is really good. It does not sound like you're playing from a tiny little speaker. It sounds like it's decent. I'm telling you, it's not like a smartphone audio should be. Definitely better than most phones out there. If not the best, definitely the top 3 for me. The Pixel 3 does really well with this as well, and to top that off, it has front firing for both speakers. So this one, I think with the setup, it has the top here and one speaker at the bottom. I don't think you can get any better than this right now on the market. Number 4, the display. So as usual, I'm going to praise the display. Everybody praises it. It's an amazing panel. Colors look great. The AMOLED is just amazing on its own. But the one thing people don't seem to talk about too much is how bright this gets. Compared to most other phones that I use, this one seems to get the brightest. I never have an issue with outdoors kind of lights and stuff. In fact, I get a lot of migraine. So what happens is when I get a migraine, I have light sensitivity, so I can't look at lights that are too bright. And even on the lowest brightness of this phone, I still get very irritated. So I have to go into my settings and I have to turn down the white point to 85%, which it's awesome in a way because you can make this phone so bright. So whenever you're outside, there is no problem with you ever seeing the phone. Even in direct sunlight, you can see what's on the display, which is a very important thing. Now, I'm not going to say that other phones aren't as good, but they're definitely not as good as this phone. They do a decent job, but this one just does a little bit better, especially because that display gets so bright and it's just so much larger as well. So I think it just has that effect of being a very nice, bright and crisp display. Number 5, performance. Performance is something that I think everybody's been talking about this year. Last year, the iPhone X was a good performer, but it wasn't really beating out anything that impressive. It was kind of up there, where it was actually kind of losing a little bit. It lost to the OnePlus 6, I believe. Couldn't stack up to the S9. I'm not sure. I have to look that up. But in speed tests, it wasn't doing the best, and it was fine, but a lot of that had to do with iOS. iOS 11 was very choppy, it was buggy, but this time around, Apple is focused, they've buckled down. iOS 12 has been optimized, they've gotten rid of so many of the bugs, so many of the issues, and it is performance focused. Not to mention how much of a beast this A12 chip is inside. Right now, it is one of the best chips on the market. I feel like I said that so many times, on the market. Nonetheless, it's just so powerful, and you can see that. Look at any speed test now. The iPhone XS is beating everything. It doesn't matter if it has double the RAM. Whatever it has right now is doing super well, and that's all. It all comes down to the optimization of the software and that really powerful processor. With a combination of those two, it's hard to argue with what's happening out there. So that's something I really like about this phone. Not once have I had any issues with performance, stuttering, anything. It's just been excellent all throughout, and that's not something I could have said about the iPhone X when I got it last year, because that was really buggy. But this year, there has been zero issues, and I actually started from a backup from that phone. So generally, everybody knows when you kind of bring over a backup, that might cause a few issues, but this time around, nothing, very smooth sailing for me. Number 6, build quality. So build quality on this phone, like last year, is top notch, pun intended, for sure. The build quality comes in, I think that right now with this mix of stainless steel, the back glass, and everything else, it just looks really good. The gold color definitely has the best look in terms of, it just looks very unique. That gold, it's a darker gold stainless steel, and it has that kind of glass that's it reflects gold as well, so that's kind of interesting to see that finish. I didn't go for the gold, but still, I think that, when you look at the phone in any color, the build quality is, just looking at it, you can tell this is a very sturdily built phone. When you pick it up, when you're using it, everything just feels solid. The rounded off glass on the front and the back, and the curved edges of the stainless steel as well. I mean, the curved, not edges, the curve of the stainless steel. Everything makes the phone feel so much more comfortable to hold, because if it had sharp edges, being this size, it would be very difficult to hold for long periods of time. But the curves and the way it's designed and everything else just it feels perfect in the hand. And that's something that Apple has always been good at. Apple will, I feel like, continue to be good at very long into the future, because that's just something that they really focus on. Attention to detail when it comes to build quality. Wrapping things up, let's talk about a few honorable mentions. Honorable mentions because I've already mentioned them before in the iPhone 10, and I just want to repeat that. But also they do make a big part of the phone. So number one has to be that haptic motor. It feels so sharp. It doesn't make any sound. It just vibrates, and it feels so much more powerful than anything else. It really does make the experience, it does like really, I like it when you get that little haptic feedback when you're scrolling and everything, really good. And I kind of wish everybody would start implementing that. Pixel has, and it feels really good. And I feel like if more manufacturers did that, that would be really nice. The alert toggle is another really, really handy feature. This is one thing I have always loved about iPhones, and I always use, because it is so easy to put it into silent or take it out of silent. You don't even have to look at the phone. You just, even if it's in your pocket, you can just really do it by hand. You don't, it's all muscle memory at this point. You don't even have to think about it. So now, even without thinking about it, when I'm going into a class or I'm going to a meeting or something like that, my phone, I automatically switch it into silent, and I don't even think about it because it's that easy. I don't have to take the phone out of my pocket. I don't have to look at things. I don't have to make sure it's in silent. I do it, and it's on silent. Done. And same way for taking it out. I just have to toggle the switch, and I know it's out of silent. So that's such an easy and amazing feature that I love. I really, really wish more manufacturers would catch on to that. OnePlus 6 has it, and I really love it on that as well. So I'm hoping that more manufacturers kind of spread that out and use alert sliders instead of only software-based volume setting. Finally, I mentioned this a few times throughout the video, but iOS 12 performance over iOS 11 has been amazing. Last year, very choppy. This year, very smooth. I've said that. I'm repeating myself a lot in this video, and I can feel it. So I'm just gonna kind of cut it off with there. iOS 12 has been amazing. I think that it has really been a big factor of why this time the iPhones just feel as amazing as they do. And that's it, guys. That wraps up why I love this iPhone XS Max. It has been an amazing phone. For the first time in forever, have I not had to worry about battery life throughout the day. I know for sure I have battery to get through the day. And I know that even if it gets to 20%, I turn on low power mode, and I know that I can get through even a few more hours without having to worry about that battery. So for me, it's been an amazing phone. I'm looking forward to using it for the rest of the year until the next phone comes out. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you have any questions about the XS Max or the XS, feel free to ask me down in the comments below. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.